Welcome to the Spotlight by CG Ruthless, man. Let's welcome my special guest from a small school that I've never heard of, which is Case Western Reserve University wide receiver Noah Coyne, man. How's it going, bro?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. I mean, anytime. But for those people who are not familiar with you, man, you gotta tell me about yourself. Coming from a small school, it's got to be pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Noah, from East Cleveland, east side of Cleveland, born and raised, big Browns fan. And kind of just my journey to football. I was kind of a late bloomer. I decided to kind of play football in sophomore year of high school. So I joined pretty late. Got the opportunity to come to Division III school and play football at Case Western. Never looked back from there. Really grateful for the opportunity to be on the show, to be considered as an opportunity, and just to go through the entire process as a draft prospect. It's been a blessing. So.
Oh yeah. Just from looking at your tapes, I mean, you seem more like a red zone guy. Like you have a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely. I think I provide a lot of mismatch. I mean, all over the field, but especially in the red zone. I think my coach at Case did a great job of moving me around and getting kind of those mismatches against whether it was in the slot against linebackers or a smaller cornerback. Just being able to provide value in the red zone and win the matchup and score touchdowns. So.
Oh yeah, like the previous season you had over 1,000 yards, but last season was over 700 yards.
Yeah, I think I was right under 800. I want to say for my senior year, but it was nice because I got to provide a different role this year. I think my junior year, a lot of the offense ran through me, and I was a deep threat. I think I averaged like 23 yards per catch or something like that. But this year I got to show my abilities in the slot, being more of that flex tight end kind of role. A big slot receiver, and I can catch short routes, catch long routes. I think I've shown it in my tape over both years. So I think it was great for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what started you on your early part of starting football?
Yeah, I mean, so I played youth football for a little bit, and I kind of ended up quitting. I loved basketball and track. I was just those are kind of the sports I grew up kind of playing. I got to high school, and the head track coach was also the head football coach. So I was a pretty good athlete in track. I love track. Competed every day in it, and then obviously basketball. So that kind of took up my like November through May. But I really kind of wanted another opportunity to compete. And, my head coach, Andrew Mooney, he, bugged me in the halls every single day, and he really wanted me to come out to play football. I was like, screw it. I'm going to go for it. As soon as I got there, never looked back. I love football, just for me as an athlete, gave me another opportunity to compete. As soon as I got out there, got to compete with, seniors when I was a sophomore. It was a blessing. And then kind of just from there, excelled, blossomed. So.
Oh yeah, so you became a late bloomer, like the way you said it, and then you started playing. I mean, you were playing basketball first, huh?
Yeah, I'm a hooper, I'd like to say. So I love playing basketball. I still play pickup all the time. It's been tough, kind of getting away from that with the draft process and training and stuff like that. But I love playing basketball, and it was one of my better sports in high school. But that and track, I think it really helps with the athletic side of football. So.
Oh yeah. It sure does. I mean, it kind of helps a little bit the way you were playing basketball, especially with those big hops and those ability to make those plays and all that stuff. So I can see why you're a red zone threat, man. You're like that rebound guy that gets it.
Yeah, definitely. No, it helps. I think basketball taught me so much in terms of body positioning and things like that. And really, when the ball comes off the rim, timing your jump so you get it right at the peak. And I think that was what, I excelled at in college. And I think it's something that I can, bring to the next level is not just timing the jump, because everyone in the NFL is athletic. Everyone who plays college football is athletic, but, using your body to shield the guy away and just being smarter than the other guy. Cause everyone's an equal or better athlete than me at the next level. But, you really use your head and make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance to succeed.
Oh yeah, definitely agree. So when you were coming out of high school, was there like other offers or no?
So, I mean, it was tough because I kind of got into football really late. I didn't really play a full sophomore season, and then my junior season, I was kind of the number 2 guy. We had a pretty big prospect at receiver at our school. So right after my junior season, I was like, all right, we're going to go into senior season and, make a name for myself. And it was tough because we got, COVID hit right before my senior year of high school. So we had to shorten down to a 6-game season. I think I still had, I don't know, 8 or 9 touchdowns and 700 yards. So I had a pretty good, season for that amount of games, but it was just recruiting was, kind of shut down to that point. So I really just kind of, took what I had. I have a few other small school offers. I want to say like maybe a walk on from Dayton or if a few other D1s, but I really just, wanted to go to Case. The education is great. One of the best school in Ohio, one of the best schools in the nation. So I was like, I'm going to, commit to play football. And, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But I mean, as soon as I got here, hit the ground running, loved football, loved the school, and, met some of my best friends here. So,
I mean, it worked out for you for the best, but what kind of offensive style have you that fits you at the next level? Because what offense you guys run?
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely, spread offense, but, as a big slot receiver, I think it's just somewhere where I have the space to succeed. I think I can spread the field in the way that I provide a mismatch every time I'm on the field. So I think with the, providing me with more space and just the ability to, sling the ball up the hashes, up the sideline, anything like that, I think will really give the best opportunity for, me and the team that I'm on to succeed.
Oh yeah, spread offense where you can get the ball around. You're a big body receiver, so that gives you more of the advantage, huh? So like being a big wide receiver, like what do NFL teams see you mostly as? Like do they see you as more of a big jumbo receiver or more of a tight end or how they look at you that way?
Yeah, it's an honor, but it's confusing at times because I think, a lot of the teams have come in to visit during the season have seen me in different ways. I think, I've talked to, the Lions came in and kind of talked to me as sort of a big slot receiver. And then, other teams, I think the Giants liked me as you wanted to make that move to the flex tight end when they came in. So it's been really cool. I think it's a decision that I know I can, either gain the weight, cut the weight. I want that, the team to make the decision for me. I wanted to put myself in the best position to, just be an athletic body. And if I got to move up a couple pounds, move up, down a couple pounds, I'm a guy who knows how to block, play in the box, things like that. So wherever they need me, I'm happy to do it. So I just wanted to put myself in the best position to kind of figure that out.
I mean, you got the advantage. You're a big receiver. So like a big slot receiver kind of seems like something like when I think of a guy that's a big slot receiver, I think of a guy like Juwan Jennings, who's just a good blocking receiver, not the fastest, but can make the nice contested catches.
Yeah, definitely. Juwan Jennings is a guy I watch a lot, and he's awesome. Just a bigger guy, probably runs the same, say, speed as me, and he reminds me of myself. So I see a lot of my traits in him. But yeah, I think it's inspiring to see guys like that play at the next level because you know that you have the same skill set and you can do it yourself.
So that's who you model your game after, or is there another receiver you look up to?
I like to take bits and pieces from a lot of different places. I mean, from like the flex tight end side, I mean, I love the way Travis Kelce plays in the receiving game. I think, the offense that he has in Kansas City with Mahomes and in terms of, option routes and things like that. I think that's one of my favorite things to watch in terms of the passing game. And then, blocking tight ends. I mean, Kittle's just one of the best. So when you're kind of trying to get tips from, how to block in the box, how to be a grittier guy, him and like Laporta, I think is another guy. The receiver side, it's tough. I'm just a guy who loves the art of route running. So I like to look down on those smaller guys who are obviously a lot better than, bigger receivers maybe in the NFL. So like, I mean, there's so many route runners like Devontae Adams and guys. I think receiver is such an awesome position because it doesn't really matter about body size and things like that when you're running routes. I mean, just setting guys up and giving yourself the best chance to get open. So I like to model myself after a good amount of players, but just taking bits and pieces from guys who excel at different things, I think has helped me grow a lot.
Okay. I mean, at least you kind of like look at them differently the way you look at it. So how do you prepare for your upcoming games when you go against your opponents?
I like to stick to a pretty consistent schedule. I'm a big, kind of superstition guy, but I mean, for game day at least, but I think at Case Western, at least our coaches have put us in, a great position throughout the week. I mean, Monday you have scout meetings, Tuesdays you kind of get into the first practice with the scout team and things like that. But for me, looking at, as a receiver, looking at secondaries and things like that, you have the whole coverage sheet, percentages, things like that, just to, make sure you have, oh, sorry, I think I lagged there. Just make sure you have the best, chance to, make the correct move on a corner who's pressing you or things like that. But just watching film, seeing tendencies, seeing, foot forward, things on how fast they come down on certain, schemes on like screens and things like that. If you can get a double move or you can hit, a stalk screen or something, things like that. I think the whole week just culminates into that game day. But once I get to game day, it's just, you're not worrying about anything, just, manifesting, kind of visualizing touchdowns, things like that, visualizing, your assignments and everything like that. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it kind of gives you kind of have a better understanding of how you're going to face your opponents and what their tendencies are. And you kind of do your homework when you match up on them. So it does kind of make a difference when you put that entire week of preparation.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
So outside of football, who are you as a person?
Yeah, I think outside of football, I'm just, a complete competitor. I think I'm, love competing. It's one of my favorite things to do. But I think besides from that, I'm just, I think I'm a great person to be around, friendly guy. I, love hanging out with my roommates, being with my people. And it's been really awesome kind of over this spring of training, as I'm still in school at the moment. So, going to class, having my classmates support me through the journey, and then, coming back home and seeing all my roommates and, just being able to, have that support system, especially with my family as well. It's nice being in Cleveland because I'm, from Cleveland. So I get to have my family around me, my friends. And hobbies, I'm a big pickleball guy. I love pickleball. I love graphic design. I did the graphic design for my football team for a little bit. I'm big on, social media and kind of sports. I think that's one of the careers I kind of want to go into, along with finance. So.
Okay. At least we're learning more about you as a person. But why'd you pick number 14, man?
Man, that's a tough one. There's not. I'd love to say there was a specific reason. When I joined the football team late in high school, they just handed me 14, and that was the number I ran with. So I think it's just I really want to stick with that. My freshman year, we had a receiver who was, also got NFL looks and things like that at Case. So they gave me his old number, 86, from when he was a sophomore. And then when he graduated, when I was a freshman, he handed down his number, which was 17. So I had 86 freshman year, 17 my sophomore year, and then 14 when I had the opportunity to choose my own number. I decided to go back to, my high school roots, because it kind of reminded me where I came from, reminded me, how hard I've worked to get to this, point in my life. So really wanted to stick with 14, and it's, one of my favorite numbers, just kind of going through my entire life, being surrounded by that number. And I wanted it for basketball too in high school, but I couldn't get that done. Had to stick with 10 for that. So, but it's all right.
It's got to be the go-to number you stick with. It's like just like for me, it would be like if it was 54. Of course, I'm going to stick with that number. But
yeah, 100%.
You just go with the opportunity. Like
yep.
Yeah. So, what is your biggest challenge face when you were learning the playbook, and how do you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge, I guess at Case, when I was, learning the playbook, it's really like I'm a big visual learner, and I think I'm an experiential learner too. So I think once I've, seen the playbook, seen the plays, and you have the install meetings and things like that, I'm going to understand it to a certain degree, but I just love being able to get out to the field and, being able to run through different scenarios with DBs who are also reacting real time to things you're doing. So, a paper playbook only goes so far. So I think that's the real biggest challenge I face is you have a certain baseline, like two-dimensional understanding of a playbook, but it really means nothing until you kind of get onto the field and adapt to, say if it's like a fat post or like a 5-step bang post, you have to see the corner. You have to, see the reaction he's having to you, where he's at and the different coverages that he's going to, go against you with. And I think that's the thing that, becomes the most important part of learning a playbook.
Oh, that's it could be challenging. You got to be more aware of your assignments and all the way how it's played out. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of, do you have like a nickname in football?
Gosh, I've just gone with Coyne for a lot. I mean that's just my last name. I had a God, was it my freshman or sophomore year? I got a little bit of the Coyne machine, but
Coin
that,
machine. Okay.
yeah, that kind of died out a little bit this year, I think. So I don't really know if I have one. It'd be nice to have one. It's one of those things where you kind of know you made it as a receiver or a tight end when you got that one kind of little nickname that everyone calls you. So that's my goal for the future is just have something that I didn't come up for with myself, but someone else gave me, and then hopefully it sticks. So.
I mean, it's like a catchy name with your last name. You are the coin machine. You score in the end zone. It's the jackpot.
Yeah,
You think
hopefully
about it, it's
that
the
will.
jackpot.
We'll see. Maybe it sticks. I don't know.
Oh,
We'll have to see.
do you have like a touchdown celebration or not really?
Oh, I try and kind of change it as I go on. I don't like having like a signature same one, but I think me and my buddies, I think it was week 1 of this year, we did it's called the Huncho Hop. It's I might have to pull up a video or something at some point, but it's from this guy on TikTok we all follow, and he's like he does like this little dance, and we all think it's funny. So we did that week 1. After that, I'm big on spinning the ball, but I realized in college, you can't really get away with that. So I got one time I got a personal foul for spinning the ball, but that's one of those things you just kind of apologize for, move on, and it never happens again. But my coach told me one time if I ever scored the game-winning touchdown, I could dunk the ball through the goalpost. So I think one of these days, maybe in the NFL, that gets to happen, dunk the ball through the goalpost. So
Yeah, they jump up the goalpost like some of those old school tight ends would do it.
oh yeah, 100%.
Like my boy Tony Gonzalez kind of made it into something.
Oh yeah. Or maybe the Gronk spike. I don't know. We have to see.
Oh,
I
Gronk
think,
where he just goes.
oh yeah, you get free range in the NFL. So I think
He makes it look like a robot, like Spike or something.
oh yeah. I think it'll be. Hopefully, I get to that point and be able to hit a celebration like that because I mean, even Division One's a little better, but Division Three refs, man, they get on you for some celebrations. So you don't got a lot of free range there. So.
Oh yeah, so a huncho hop. Okay, so that's something you would do. Let's see for backup plans. We all know we always got to have something ahead of ourselves. So what's like your major in college, and what's your plans? Like with all that.
Yeah. So I'm a finance major. We have a integrated Master of Finance program. So it's been really, really awesome. It's kind of one of the benefits of going to a Division III school. I get to graduate with my bachelor's and my master's of finance in 4 years, which is just a blessing and a huge opportunity. And you don't have to pay anything extra. You pay your undergraduate tuition and get a graduate degree with it. So, one of the big reasons I came to the school, very grateful for Case Western and, everybody who's been involved in my journey here. But I love finance. I love sports. And I think down the line, I really want to kind of combine the two things. My end goal is really being like a CFO or a big guy in the NFL front office. I think that's, where I want to be in life. I love interacting with, just football in general. And I would love to be on the personnel side as well. But, I know those don't pay the big bucks like the finance majors do sometime, or the big front office positions. So I think that's the route I want to go. But, I've done investment banking internships in the past. I worked at JP Morgan last summer. So I think I'm a pretty well-rounded guy. And I love football. I'm going to continue it as far as I can go, but I'm so ready for
Still
the
got a
next
long
one.
ways to go with your career. So I mean, at least you're thinking ahead. So that's all that matters, man. So
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the one
football's the
thing.
main focus, of course, but it's
Oh
always good to have a backup plan.
yeah. I think that's what Division III has done a great job. And I think it's so underappreciated, the position that Division III puts you in for a lot of these colleges. So.
Oh yeah. So what was your biggest impact as your progression as a wide receiver?
For me, I think it was an interesting journey because I had a lot of different wide receiver coaches, but a lot of people take that as a bad thing. I think, like most people, when I tell them I had 3 wide receiver coaches in 4 years, they say like, "Oh, that sucks." Like, I'm, sorry, it probably didn't help. But I think it was one of the best things to happen to me because there are so many guys who have so much different wisdom in football, and they give you so many different aspects. And you're a college student, you're an adult, like you have to make the decision for taking information and applying it on the field. So I think like my freshman year, my receiver coach was Giuseppe Orsini, who's now a scout with the LA Chargers, and he's getting higher up in the personnel department there. And he was just incredible in terms of, just kind of the specific route running technique, things like that. And then my sophomore year, I had Zach Medved, who was my coach. And he, was a very inspiring coach, one of those guys you're very friendly with, great guy. And, he didn't give me as much in the like specific skill route running department because he was a newer coach, a younger guy, but he did more for me than he'll ever know in terms of, developing confidence and things like that. And then my coach this year, Coach Eltech, he's one of my favorite people. He's just, as soon as I graduated, he just turned into, or not graduated, as soon as I was done playing football, he turned into one of my best friends. But he's had a profound impact on me as developing my skills as wide receiver, especially my confidence. And he's, him and Coach Debs both have kind of worked with me and, give me the opportunity to, just develop my skills and things like that. So.
Okay. So he definitely kind of helped you along the way with those progressions as a receiver. So at least you give credit there. What's your favorite thing about playing for Case Western Reserve football?
I think for me, it's the dudes. I'm sure you probably get that answer a lot on the show, but I mean the guys are. We got the link down there. Nice.
My bad.
No, you're good. That's funny. For me, it's the guys. I mean, there's no better thing. I like the best 4 weeks of the year, and Division III has a shorter kind of fall camp schedule. So we get here August, and you go back to school in 3 or 4 weeks. So we get a short amount of time with the guys before school starts. But it is like the best 3 or 4 weeks of my life. Like just being able to go to football, spend the whole day playing football with my guys, go get food, things like that. I mean, and then going home and living with my roommates who are all on the football team. I live in a house with 12 guys and all 11 other guys around the football team. So you just get surrounded by your buddies and football, and it just creates friends for life. I mean, these are guys that you spend hours with every single day, and then you work even harder outside of the football hours. So, I mean, these are guys that I'm going to invite to my wedding and things like that. So there's really nothing better, and that's, but I'm so thankful for football for providing me.
I mean, at least you're at home, so it's more like you don't have to go too far and all that stuff. So it makes it easy to be close to your friends and all that. So
yeah, definitely.
So what's the most valuable lesson you learned about as a receiver?
I think for me, the most valuable lesson is that like there's been I think my freshman year, I had a little tough time with confidence because, I mean, we had a guy on the other side who was, had NFL scouts coming and things like that. And I was a guy who played football for 2 years prior to that. And I show up freshman year of college, and there's this, 6'5" receiver who's his name is Colt Morgan, and he was just incredible. And it's one of those things where I was looking up to him, and halfway through the season, I was starting. So it's like I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is that I can be the best player on the field no matter who was on the field. Like I know the value I can provide as a receiver, as a tight end, as of things like that. So I think really developing the confidence and learning the lesson that at any given time I have the God-given ability, the God-given traits, and also the confidence and the mentality to be the best player on the field. So I think once I got past my freshman year and kind of the imposter syndrome of coming to university and playing football, as soon as I got past that, I mean, it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's something like it's a humble experience once you get that many years of that experience, even from the beginning. You learn from somebody.
Yeah.
So, what areas of your game do you feel that it took you the longest to develop, and what would you tell your younger self to do differently?
I think for me, definitely setting up guys. I think being able to move effectively in space. I mean, I've always been kind of a good athlete, which has helped, but it's one of those things where you're in high school and you're a better athlete than most people. You're bigger and stronger and things like that. And it kind of gives you the leeway to not work as hard. And I think as soon as I got to college and you really kind of get hit with that reality check, like, damn, these guys are good. And you really have to kind of put yourself in the shoes of just working every single day. I think, things like a trigger step or get into the blind spot of a DB, things like that. I mean, it just took so long to develop because in high school you could just get away with, running a straight line, being faster than guys when I was a track guy in high school. But, you get to college and even though it's D3, it's no joke. Like these guys are athletes. So you really have to work on setting up guys, hitting trigger steps, running routes effectively, breaking down 2 steps, not in 3 or things like that give you that millisecond to second advantage in
for sure. If you can catch a touchdown pass from any other quarterback, past or present, who would it be?
Wow, that's a tough one. From one NFL QB, past or present, I think for me, like one of the best arm talents in the league I've seen, I mean, current at least, is Josh Allen. I think he's incredible. And I mean, as a Browns guy, my best buddy, he's a Bills fan, so I get to hear and see about Josh Allen all the time. It doesn't even matter. So watching him play, man, he chucks the ball, and I always, picture myself kind of getting under one of those balls 60, 70 yards down the field, just a go ball, and catching that in stride and scoring a touchdown. So I think for me, it'd be Josh Allen. I mean, I can go the homer answer of a Browns quarterback, but there's been too many of those in the past 20 years. So I don't know if I can pick a specific one that I really, I guess, grew up on. Manziel was a big part of me growing up. He didn't turn out 100%, but man, he was fun to watch for a little bit. But I mean, any bright spot Browns QB for me is also up there. So
it's got to be pretty interesting just to have a chance to live out a dream and play for the Browns. That would be something like just like you don't have to go too far. You just go right down to that stadium.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, it's been a dream of mine for my entire life. I mean, it didn't come to fruition really until, you're in your senior year and my coach told me like, the scout coming today and, there's a guy shows up, he's got the Browns logo on his jacket. You're like, geez, man, this is real stuff. And it's just really inspiring, man. I mean, the Browns.
It's inspiring just to grow up as a fan, but now it's already coming to reality. Like all that hard work you put into, man, it's going to start paying off. So the opportunities present itself, but pretty sure whatever team gets you, bro, they're going to get the best out of you. But if you were to pick a team, which I'm pretty sure you got the Browns, but does it matter what team would take a chance on you?
No, definitely not. It does not matter at all. I think any team that gives me the opportunity is going to get a guy who competes, who has a high ceiling, who's able to make plays at the biggest level in football. So to me, it doesn't matter. Would love to play for the Browns. Would be awesome. I think, any teams like that, but any teams with a dynamic offense, I think, I met with the Lions down in Texas and they have a great offense, a very spread kind of, they got athletes everywhere. And I think that's a system that I would fit in very well, but anywhere would be a blessing.
Yeah, it's just a blessing opportunity to live out your dreams. So whether it's with your favorite team or not, it's got to be a blessing to get that opportunity. Even if it's playing for the Bengals or the Dolphins or whatever, bro, you're making your money's worth, man. That's all that matters.
Yeah, definitely. And just being able to compete with athletes. I think a lot of the mistakes that people, just like a casual viewer, kind of makes with football is like you think the Bengals or like suck or the Giants suck. I mean, those guys are athletes. And that's the best thing about football is it doesn't matter if a team is 1-15 or whatever. That team could beat the Chiefs or any team that's 15-1 on any given day. I mean, you've seen upsets happen in football, and I think that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's just grown men playing football, and everyone's an athlete on the field, and I think that's the best part. Is it's just dudes who want to compete with each other. It doesn't matter about records and schemes and things like that. It's just competing against the guy across from you.
Oh yeah. So are you kind of a trash talker, or you let your play do the talking on the field?
I think I've developed it a little bit. I think I used to be a quieter guy. I think my junior and senior year, I did enjoy to talk a little bit, but I mean, I just do kind of little funny comments. I don't like, wasting my time on trash talking. Cause I think if you're not an effective trash talker, it's going to take you away from the game. I think my favorite thing is to just, when someone's talking to you, just literally don't even say anything, score a touchdown on the next play. And you don't even need to say anything at all. And you can just walk up the field and that guy will be thinking about you for the next 5 weeks. So that'd be my favorite thing. I think that's like the ideal situation for me to trash talk, but I'm not going to lie. It is fun to get in a few words. So I don't mind doing that at all.
So how do you handle, How do you handle crowd noises just as an opposing team, man? Because you got to deal with that crowd noise, man. It can be a little challenging.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little different at the Division III level. I will say that, but our stadium at Case Western is surrounded by student apartments, so it doesn't matter if there's not that many people in there. When that place gets packed on, our homecoming game and alumni night and things like that, I mean, that sound reflects off the buildings, and it gets loud. It gets super loud to hear. So for me, we transitioned to being a full huddle team this year. We don't do signals from the sideline, so I think that really helped with it, but just for me, I think it goes back to confidence and knowing I'm the best athlete and just preparing every single day, like every single day up until the game, Monday through Friday, is you getting ready to face adversity and face the noise. You're preparing yourself to be able to, respond when that noise comes. So I think when the noise happens on Saturday, you're already ready for it, and it doesn't even affect you.
Oh yeah. So let's see. Does it feel surreal to you, or does it feel like business as usual to you?
I'd say parts of it feel surreal. I think when it first, kind of started, I think like at the end of my junior year when I got the call from my coach and said, the scout wants to see your film and things like that, I think it was really surreal. And, it's something that like you tell your dad and you're like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? But I think once, the scouts kept coming and calling and asking about me, is like, I can do this. Like I have a chance at this. And I think that's when it became kind of business as usual. I kind of faced my senior season as like, I'm an NFL prospect. Like I'm going to attack every game like an NFL prospect, work like it, things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely surreal moments like I was talking about earlier when the Brown scout came to my practice. It's just, it's a cool feeling. It's surreal, but yeah, you gotta face every challenge as business as usual. And,
face the reality, even though you were living the dream. So, I mean,
yeah. 100%.
But has any other NFL players reach out to you and give you some advice just to get prepared for the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to kind of work with a few athletes over at Speed Strength when I was preparing for my pro day, and I mean, there's guys there who are just insane athletes and things like that. But for me, it's just really, just being able to model my game after a lot. Even the Division III guys who come out of college. Just being able to kind of watch them and it kind of helps me prepare just because, you can make it, with everything, the odds stacked against you. It doesn't matter if you're Division III, it doesn't matter anything. But yeah, I mean, it helps when my coach I was talking about earlier, Coach Orsini, he's been awesome in this process. And he's, obviously a scout for the Chargers. So it's been cool to, stay in contact with him. When I was down at the College Gridiron Showcase in Fort Worth, he was there scouting. So it was one of those surreal moments where like you're my old receiver coach and I'm seeing you at a Senior Bowl game with NFL scouts here. But he's been huge in the process throughout the spring and, helping me out. And then my agent's been awesome. So it's nice to have a lot of guys in my corner to, really help.
Yeah, they've been pretty helpful in a long ways. I mean, your agent pretty much did a good job and put a word for you. So I was looking forward to this. Okay, so if you can have like a meal with one celebrity, alive or dead, who would it be, man? We're going to go with the rapid fire questions. I'm going to go with different kinds of questions just to see who you are as a person with different kind of answers.
All right, fair. You want an explanation with it too, or just the rapid fire?
Oh yeah, just one celebrity. Just if you had one meal with them, dead or alive, it can be anybody.
For me, it's LeBron. I mean, grew up on LeBron. He's my guy.
LeBron James, okay.
LeBron James. He's there. No one outside of Cleveland will understand what that 2016 NBA championship meant. I mean, it's just that was the greatest day of my life. I think was seeing a team from Cleveland really just make it, and just through all the adversity that they faced, and having bad seasons, things like that. And Cleveland is not a championship city. As much as I love the city, it's not a city that churns out championships. So, I mean, just come back from 3-1. I mean, the value that he's brought to the city. I mean, they have the studies with. He increases the GDP by millions of dollars when he's in the city, when he's playing for the Cavs. So, I mean, he's just one of my biggest inspirations and one of the best people I think I've ever seen. So,
all right, man. Like, see, LeBron brought the championship to Cleveland for once. I mean, when he kind of like left the first time, he returned the second time around after Miami, and then he definitely did bring you guys a championship.
Oh yeah, no, he's fully forgiven from my end after that championship.
Yeah, he was that one guy that just left you guys for a second, then just came right back, man. It's just I don't know. He's won championship everywhere he's went at this point. So, Okay, so like for I guess for certain like other stuff, okay, if you had to choose something to eat for fast food, what would it be, McDonald's or Burger King?
Gosh, it's been a while since I've had some fast food, man. You just reminded me. I'd say McDonald's. I think McDonald's. Yeah, they got good
Okay,
fries
can't go
there. They
wrong
got
with that.
the McDonald's Sprite. Yeah, they got some good stuff there. I'm not. I probably only had Burger King maybe 4 or 5 times in my life, to be honest. So I can't really give an accurate comparison, but McDonald's is the place to
Yeah,
go, I would say there.
I know for you, you're probably balancing on the dieting because it's mostly like for athletes to be in better shape, they have to like cut off on some stuff. I get that part, but is it challenging? Have they given you the balance to be in better shape or what?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's been nice. It definitely helps because nutrition is such a huge part of training and things like that. And in my development to becoming a big slot receiver, flex tight end kind of guy, you have to gain weight, but you have to gain like good weight, good muscular weight. So it's definitely a hard thing. I mean, people underestimate how much eating you have to do to gain weight. So it's one of those things where you just got to like shove food down your throat and make the protein shakes and things like that. Eat a ton of chicken and ground beef, and I mean, like you
Yeah.
could just go eat Ben and Jerry's and ice cream every day, but you're not gonna play as well as you want. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to really lock in and let the food talk for you, because when you have a good diet, you feel awesome, and when you're running
Oh yeah.
40s and things like that. So
Oh yeah. I guess we got another one right here. I guess White Castle or Whataburger.
man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never had either of these. I don't know if they have. They definitely don't have Whataburger in Cleveland. White Castle, I feel like I've seen around, but man, I don't got an answer for you there.
I think the closest one they have is somewhere down Missouri. I think because it's like it's
Is that
mostly
what
a
it is?
Texas location. Because their food's kind of all right. But I guess as far as like pizza, would you prefer an NY style pizza or Chicago style?
For me, it's Chicago. I think any deep dish pizza is the best. I'm not a big thin pizza guy. Everyone talks about that pizza in Italy, and I went to Italy and it was like thin, and I was not a fan of it, honestly. So I love that like thick, stuffed crust, deep dish kind of pizza. So I think Chicago would be the one I have to go with.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Like I guess that kind of style's good. So I guess if you were to have the drink for just like the way you drink, do you prefer Gatorade or just Powerade?
Oh gosh, for me, I'm honestly not big on either of those, just because like the sugar. I guess I'm a big like
Yeah, I
you
gotta
ever
lower
seen the
those.
big what do you call them? Like the Pedialytes and the electrolyte bottles. I usually just like grab a big bottle of water and a big thing of
That's a good
Pedialyte.
alternate question to put in. Like Pedialyte's, like you can't go wrong with that one.
Oh no, Pedialyte is the way to go. I think
Yeah.
it. I don't know the stats on it, but it contains something crazy like 4 or 5 like Powerade electrolytes. So it's awesome. But I think I choose Powerade. I think when I was younger, man, blue Powerade and a lunch
Yeah.
next to the pool, man,
Yeah,
that
you
was
can't
awesome.
go wrong with either one. But I guess two more questions from these guys, and I'll just do one last one from here, and then we're good.
Yeah, that's good.
So Chevy or Ford?
I'm gonna go with Chevy. I think Chevy was my first car. I had a 2016 Chevy Cruze was one of my first cars. So I mean, that car was awesome. That was one of my favorite things ever. It was right when I turned 16, and I got to experience the open roads and driving with a driver's license. So I have some emotional connection to Chevy. I don't think I've ever had a Ford, so I think I got to stick with Chevy there.
Oh yeah. All right, you can't go wrong. Oh, fight song. I guess your team's fight song, but don't worry. I think Granddazer's got the music right here. Got the music for you to put for the like little singing. Few of the prospects pretty much did this little fight song for their team. I
I'm
mean,
not
team
gonna
spirit,
lie to
right?
you. I don't even know ours. Is that what ours is?
Yeah, that's what it says. Fight on, you man of case reserve. Make foe man fear your strength or verve display. I don't know. Like, I guess that's what it
Wow.
said.
That might be it. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I've never heard that. Look, we have our band play. It's a fight song, I believe, but there's no lyrics. Like when we run out onto the field. But wow, I mean, if that's it, I to be honest with you, I've never heard it before. So that's a first for me.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I mean, for the band, but okay. So I guess how do you handle a situation with a cancer on your locker room, like a teammate that just quits on you guys, like just middle of the game? Like, how do you deal with that circumstances?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a tough situation. If you have guys like that, I think I've been blessed at Case to not really have a situation like that, especially at Division III, where a lot of guys, you're not getting paid to be there. You want to be there. It's not like no one's looking to transfer and things like that. So it's been something that I haven't had too much experience with, honestly. But I think for me, it's really just kind of addressing it straight up. I mean, you're both men, you're both grown men playing football. It's one of those things that you got to address. Like, talk to them. What's the issue? What's going on? Do you want to be here? Do you want to get better? Like, and most of the time, a guy who's being a cancer in the locker room, it stems from something. It usually stems, like, he wants to be there, but maybe he's not getting the playing time he wants. And me being a captain, it's like, if that's the case, it's something you can talk to coach about. You advocate for yourself, inspire the guy to advocate for himself, but also, tell him to go to coach, tell him to get a sheet, tell him coach to write a sheet for him of everything he can improve on and everything he can do to get on the field. Because I think a lot of guys who are cancers in the locker room, they have all these problems and they're not happy with the way they're being treated or their role on the field, but they don't want to put in the work to fix it. So I think you really just have to kind of instill in them and give them the opportunity to really make themselves better, and because that gives you a better, say it's a scout team guy, it gives you a better look on Monday through Friday. So
yeah, see, that's a good way to handle it, because it could be just the lack of playing time or part of the role they're not getting. So it could be one of the factors. But how do you deal with a locker room like a sideline altercation with teammates? Like, it's a heat of the moment. This game can be so emotional. Like, let's say your quarterback and the other wide receiver are just not on the same page. How do you deal with it as a leader, man?
Yeah. I think it's been one of the positions I've been blessed with, as being a captain and being able to be in the middle of those situations. And it's one of the things that I kind of was not a part of when I was a freshman, but as you get into that captain role, you see it a lot more, and things happen. And I'm a very emotional guy when I'm on the football team or on the football field. I like to express my opinion. I'm going to tell you if I was open on the last play. I'm going to tell you what I saw. I'm going to tell you that, you need to hit me. And I think it just goes back. You fall back on the relationship you have with your quarterback. I mean, our quarterback, Alex Fromberg, he's playing over in France right now, but he's a dog, and he's a guy that we went through every single practice together. And, if something went wrong in the game, we had so many practice reps together that I know what he's capable of and I know what he can do. So I'm going to tell him what I know he's capable of, and he's going to do the same to me if I, screw up a rep or things like that. So it's really just falling back on the relationships and the trust you build with your guys to be able to, overcome those challenges and make sure that you're not spending too much time getting emotional and yelling at each other, but you're understanding that, like, you're in a position to succeed. You have to, make plays. And if you're not doing what you need to do, but I've seen you do it in practice, I'm going to tell you that, and we're going to figure it out and move on and win games.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So why should NFL teams draft you, and why you stand out from the rest of the receivers?
Yeah, I think I'm a super high motor guy. I know a lot of the scouts I talked to really liked me because I was a kind of a mystery prospect or things like that, just getting into football late. I think that's what I'm, draftable on. That's what guys should be picked up on. Is just my high ceiling. I think I have so much to offer for teams in terms of athleticism, things like that. I have so many different skill sets that I can provide. And it's one of those things where I think I can provide so much because I'm a student of the game. I'm a smart guy. I understand football, way better than most guys do. And I think that's what puts me apart from a lot of receivers is I know how I'm, going to be able to set myself up. I know what the guy's going to do. And there's a lot of guys who have kind of a basic understanding of defenses and things that they're going against. But for me, I take so much pride in learning playbooks, learning things like that. And, it's something that has been instilled in me at going Division III is you have to learn more than you have to play most times. So you have to understand the game or you're not going to get on the field. So that I think that's what sets me apart is really, being a student of the game, being smart and kind of taking that knowledge and putting it together with an NFL frame, an NFL body, NFL athletic ability. And that's what's going to, make me stand out from everyone.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's you got the big body size and you're still learning the position. So it's only going to get better. So let's say your guys are down by multiple touchdowns going into halftime. What would be the pep talk for you to get this team to come from behind and win this ball game?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I love talking to my guys. I think receiver is such an awesome position, just because you have the opportunity to make huge plays and change the course of the game. I mean, there's like it's probably one of the only positions in football where a quarterback could take one step drop, chuck it up to you, and you have to make the play and make something happen. It doesn't rely on, obviously if you're going to run big concepts, it's going to rely on the O line and things like that. But if you want to make a play, you can tell the quarterback, throw me the ball, and you're going to make a play. So I think that's what I would kind of base my pep talk off of is, we're going to change this game. We're the ones that can get us back into it. And it's tough being a receiver and a tight end. You're the limelight in a lot of things. You're scoring touchdowns, but you drop a ball, man, everyone sees that. It's amplified. It's not like a interior O lineman, letting a guy through. Obviously, you're going to get, screamed at by your coach, but it's not the average person in the crowd is not seeing that. So I think you get the high risk, high reward with being a wide receiver. So I think that's what I'm going off of, when I'm talking to the guys is we can change the game. So
a lot of it, like you got 2 quarters left. There's more to play for. So you either won it or not. So that's what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
So for all those years in college, what can you improve on? Improve on the most going into the NFL that you got to work on the most.
I'd say for me, I mean, it's just receiver and tight end is, especially in the pass game, is such an intricate position, and there's so much to learn and so many things like that. So it's one of those things I've adapted a mindset of just continuous learning, and you're never going to know everything. And I think that's what's really helped with having 3 different receiver coaches and things like that. So really just improving on things like, I mean, trigger steps, especially me gaining weight now. It's a little bit harder to, stop and go. And it's one of those things that you got to keep repping out while you're eating, while you're gaining weight to make sure you still can stop on a dime, route run, things like that. So those are the things I kind of focus on because, speed, explosiveness, speed, strength training, that you can do that outside of football. But when you're on the field, you really got to make sure you can get open, because if you can't get open as a receiver, you're not getting paid. If you can't block as a tight end, you're not getting paid. So I think that's what it comes down to.
It's a good point, man. But yeah, definitely appreciate your time, bro. I know it's been going on pretty long, bro, and I know you got a huge training to get ready for the next level. For those people who want to look for your social media platform, man, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so my X or Twitter, whatever you call it now, it's just Noah Coyne 3, no spaces, and then my Instagram is noah.coyne, Coyne. And yeah, I think those are the only 2 that you need me on. You can find me on
for sure, man. Yeah, for everybody else, man, go check out Case Western Reserve wide receiver Noah Coyne, or should I say the Coyne machine, man. He's a red zone. He's going to hit the jackpot. Somebody take a chance on this guy, man. But yeah, dude, thank you for your time. And for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate your time as well, man.